Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite, famous and fabulous boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to look at again the Canon zoom lens EF 24-70mm 1 to 2.8L USM. Oops, sorry about that. Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to be looking at the Canon zoom lens EF 24-70 1 to 2.8L USM. This is the stuff of legends. It's got this great reputation. We'll use it wide open throughout its whole range. Now there's a whole bunch of types or variations of these, from the original one to the most modern one. And I got one of the ones in between, like version 3 or something. And some of you can't tell the difference except by this. It used to be here and they moved it there and stuff like that. And they say that the optic's been improved at every iteration. So were they? I don't know. I got this from KEH used. It was pretty pricey. I checked it out in my bedroom, and I was taking pictures of something that had specular reflections, and it seemed to be had coma and flare. So I said, well, maybe I got a bad one. KEH was pretty cool. They have 180-day exchange, so I sent it back and got another one. The one I had a dent in the sacrificial ring right here, but that still means it could have been took a hit, and maybe there's something wrong with it. So I got the new one, and I went and I took the same pictures, and it still has the same flare and coma wide open. So I said, WTF, you know, wow. So a 3.8 is much better. 4, 8, 11 is fantastic. What's its claim to fame? Lightning fast autofocus. It's like 90% accurate. I had this, it's on the EOS 5D Mark II, which is a full frame 20 megapixel camera. And this has a AF fine tune in the menu. And I think I had to put it on +10 or something. And I'm still not sure that's good, you know, but it's okay. Stopped down at F11. It's great. I went to the Sahara Club car show in Bogota, and I shot at F11, and it was really great. I really liked it. But isn't any lens going to be good at F11? Now, since this is a full frame DSLR, 24mm is a super wide angle. And so it's like really freaking me out because I'm so used to, using a crop sensor. And so this is an old lens and an old DSLR, but it cranks. And you may say, well, Boomer, what was that business with the 2 bricks stuck together? Well, when you're carrying this around, it's like having 2 bricks on your, slinging around your neck. Take my word for it. So, the proof is in the pudding. Why don't we just jump right into the slideshow, the Sahara Club car show. I think it was July 7th. That was a Sunday. And I was there early, and I had to leave early because that's just hot and humid weather. And you know what? Everyone had rolled in by 9:30 anyway, and I got to take a bunch of cool pictures. And well, let's look at the car show slideshow, and then you could decide yourself. July has been a right brutal summer month with a lot of high temperatures and high humidity and lots of rain. And I wanted to go to a couple more car shows, but I was afraid they would get canceled. And on a day of the car show, if you want to get there early, there's really no one to call. So if they said there's going to be rain in the morning, I didn't go. But the Sahara Club in Bogota turned out to be really nice weather. It was really warm, but it wasn't oppressively hot. Now, I think the show started at 9, and I left my house at like 7 to get there at 8. And there's a lot of cars there already. And they started rolling in one after another all the time it was there. And it's a little industrial area. And yeah, I just walked up and down the parking lot. And they have like an annex parking lot where there's some more stuff back there. I've seen some cars from last year, but I also seen a lot of newer cars. And there's a lot of really, really nice cars there. And I had the Canon 24 to 70mm f1.8, f2.8. And it's supposed to be this legendary lens. Well, you know, What's its claim to fame? Lightning fast autofocus. Uh, it's old school, all metal, and it weighs like a ton. It's like having a brick around your neck. And even the Canon D5 Mark II is like another brick. So he was carrying two bricks around. But that's not to say that they weren't good at what they had to do. I found that the 24 to 70 millimeter was really good at 24 millimeters, way better than most anyone else's zoom of that type class. And of course, I was shooting at f11 constantly, and I got really good results because f11, any aberrations in the lens should be gone by then, and you don't have to worry about diffraction effects from stopping down too much. And in that respect, it was a really good lens. Really excellent lens. And it had a good zoom ratio, and it focused really close when you want to get close-ups. And the D5 Mark II is an ancient DSLR, but it's full frame and it holds its own. I was very satisfied with it. It has a lot of features, but you know, I just set it in aperture priority mode, and I let it pick the shutter. And as long as I kept ISO around 400, I was doing okay. So I didn't have to worry too much about technical things. I just concentrated on my photography. Well, I'm a boomer, but I notice there's a lot of boomers at these car shows. Only older people who you know, worked all their lives and saved their money can afford these fancy schmancy cars. You know, it's a hobby thing. And they go to these car shows, and maybe it costs $20 to register, and you get a trophy, maybe best in class or something like that. A lot of people got vets. A lot of people got vets, I'll tell you that much. Of course, I like to see the oldies and moldies that I grew up with, like I was born in 56, so those cars from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, you know, mom and pop cars, and all of a sudden they became muscle cars. And then there are cars like this Wildcat that I've never really seen before. And, you know, it's just interesting to see a whole mishmash of different cars. Old American cars, new American cars, some foreign cars, you know, specialty cars. The cat, the Wildcat. When was the last time you seen a Wildcat? I don't know. Maybe they only made 10 for the whole country. Who knows? Anyway, there is acres of chrome, deep mirror finish paint jobs. You know, they're all side by side. I got there early before the crowd rolled in, because usually the crowd starts around 10 o'clock and goes to closing. And then it's hard to get pictures because everyone's in the way, you know. So, and then I can't stand the heat anymore, you know. So I got there early. I like to see the cars roll in. You know, I like the smell of, you know, leaded gas exhaust fumes, and, you know, the thunder of those V8s and everything, with the headers wide open. And it's just a cool experience. Was there any Teslas there? No, I didn't see a Tesla there. No electric cars. Well, sometimes that happens. So I was shooting in the sun here. We're very well behaved without a lens hood. So in that respect, it doesn't have any trouble with flare or reflections or anything like that. It's got excellent saturated colors. I didn't notice any distortion really. There's some wide-angle distortion from perspective, but there's no like fisheye or something like that. And you know what? It's free for spectators. It's free. There's limited parking there, but they actually, if you go down the side street, and there's a lot of street parking in front of a new factory they built. So, you know, I got there, I parked real close, I hung out, it would start to get hot, I could see people rolling in, then I took off. They served breakfast and lunch, but they were all, you know, high cholesterol, and, you know, being a boomer, I gotta watch that, so I didn't partake of anything. I bought an apple and a piece of homemade bread, and that was it. It's just, I love these paint jobs with the deep mirror finish, and I like when a contrasting color car parks next to another car, and you can see that car in it. That's so cool. And all right, you know, juxtaposition, I try and capture like foreground or background things with the cars, for perspective, location, locale. Yeah, and some of the paint jobs, they're so reflective. It was like abstract. And you see there's mostly older people there, and they swap stories and stuff about their cars and everything. And so it's a little bit of a social gathering, too. I would like to go to some more car shows, but so many of them, I was afraid they were going to get rained out. And I was talking to these guys, oh, did you go to the waiting show? Did it get rained out? He goes, yeah, they had it. It rained like hell for like an hour. And I said, well, it was like a 40-minute drive. And if I had known for a fact they were going to have it, I would have went. Because I'll tell you, most car shows, they cancel out when they know it's going to rain. And when it does rain, all these cars get the beads of water on it, and it looks totally different. So, you got to make sure you have an umbrella with you. Keep it in the car so you can run to the car and stand under your umbrella. Look at all this chrome. Amazing. Look at these dashes. This is the height of design, industrial design back in the day. And then, you get these new cars, and you can see how the styles changed across manufacturers and genres, as it may be. And people, they got to back up and turn around and find their spot. Maybe some people, they want to park next to their buddy and all that good stuff. But this lens turned out to be a fine lens. Oh, sure, I was shooting at f11. What would you expect? I would expect any lens to be at its best at f11. But I didn't see any flaring. I didn't see any ghosting. It was a good lens at f11. Now, I'm going to shoot this lens again under conditions where it's more wide open, and then we're really going to check out that f2.8 business. But take my word for it, since I had 2 copies, and they're both the same at f2.8, which is a little soft. Whatever status this lens has, I don't get it. Of course, they say they kept improving the optical formula, but then that means the earlier optical formulas had to be worse, right? And of course, they say the newest version that has IS and all that stuff is the best version, but they cost such big bucks. Who could afford it? Now, it turns out that concurrently while I was buying this, I saw a Dokina 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 and an EF mount for like 3/5 of the price. So of course I bought it because I wanted to compare it. And actually, to tell you the truth, I think the Tokina is better at f2.8. But, I shot at f11, so we can't compare f2.8 to f11. But the colors are rich and saturated, and the details are fine, and all that stuff. And, it matched so well with the D5 Mark II that, I got to do some more stuff with this. Just to see what it's all about. Under varying lighting conditions where maybe I'm going to have to, open up the aperture some more. But then I want to get the depth of field, as much depth of field as I can, because, these are 3-dimensional objects, and I wanted a wide range of focus, and it handled that really well, really well. And you can see I shot a lot at 70 millimeters, right? A lot at 70 millimeters. I found that to be a focal length that I used a lot. And I shot some 24s, and you can tell the difference between 24s and all that. But, it's a good lens, except that 2.8 is not what I would call L-lens performance on the 2 samples I had. But don't let that scare you away. Oh, and that's the other thing. It does weigh a ton. It weighs a ton. There's no getting around it. That's a heavy piece of glass, and it's a heavy camera, too. So I keep that in mind. But that's not to say I'm going to let it sit on the shelf. I didn't really want to use this thing. So the Canon 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8, out in the field at a car show, it did good. It did good.